So hello everybody, today we're going to be starting, a series on my channel where we're going to build a computer from starting with absolutely nothing, from the bare, beginning, all the way to the finishing, installing the operating system and installing software on Windows. So that's basically this whole series. We're going to be starting, building a gaming PC. This is going to be for my brother. He's actually going to be finally getting a computer. He actually has a Mac currently, and as we all know, Macs are totally 110% the king of gaming. And if you can't tell the sarcasm in my voice, then I have to make it pretty clear. Otherwise, I'll have people in the comments going, sir, appears your facts are incorrect. But basically the point is this whole series is going to go over that kind of stuff. So we're going to basically go through and pick the parts for kind of what he's looking for, kind of get a general idea of what he wants and what how he's going to be playing, what games he's going to be playing, etc. So today, as I said, we're going to be starting, and one of my favorite places to start out of anywhere people can go through and plan parts to other places. I just like PC Part Picker because it's a really good tool to get a bunch of ideas on what parts you're gonna need. So this first video is basically gonna be going through and picking out all the parts for this computer. The next video might be ordering the parts and maybe looking at the parts, etc. And then the third video might be building the computer itself, and that might actually be 2 videos. And then the final video will be installing the Windows and getting all that stuff ready to go. So this is basically going to be a pretty good series, and of course if you're interested in it, just make sure you subscribe or check out the whole playlist. It should be in a playlist and you can go check out the whole thing. So enough of me talking. So basically when you're looking for a PC, you got to kind of figure out what you want. Now there's certain things for certain people, but my brother doesn't have a YouTube channel and he just wants to play a bunch of Steam games. So for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna go over, explain why I'm choosing each part, why I'm getting each part and stuff, and the whole reason behind that. So let's start off. So first of all, let's choose ourselves a CPU. Now there's lots of options, and personally, I think that the 1600X is by far a very nice deal, but that's just because it's got a lot of cores and will last a lot longer, and I feel like it does a better job with stuff. So basically, I know there's the Intel processor, but you can see there's like $100 difference. So ideally, in this best situation, we should probably go through and get him the newest i7, simply because gaming just tends to be a really CPU. Some games run a lot CPU oriented, etc. So let's see if we can go grab a cooler. Now obviously I don't know if he wants to overclock or not, but the default stock speed is pretty good, to be honest. So I mean, I don't know what I can argue there. What I'm gonna say is his budget is about $1,000, which I know is a lot. So I'm getting him a Intel i7 in the 7700K, and that's just because, as I said, some games they just solely rely on a single core, and that's going to be good for him, especially because he's doing individually gaming. I also got him an or a good cooler to overclock. This just basically means, because he likes to play a lot of Minecraft, so this is something good for him, so he can basically go through and get a good cooler. So now for motherboard, I want to make sure he at least has enough room to expand, but let's also keep in mind though that I want to make sure that it's got a chipset that can overclock, because obviously you're getting the overclockable chip, you're getting the overclockable cooler, and now you got to get down to here. So Intel's processors actually only support I believe, what is it, the maximum RAM speed I believe is 250 or 2200 or 666 speed for the RAM, hertz speed for the RAM. So basically that's, as you can see right here, that's what we're going to be getting, and I believe there's no difference in the CAS. I believe so. No difference in the CAS. So that's 16 gigabytes of the max speed that he can get, and as you can see, we're kind of rocking up the price already. But as you can see, that's gonna run pretty much any game out there, no issue, and that's getting the highest speed that the processor will be able to do anything with. If you get something higher than that, then the processor doesn't actually do anything with it. It basically is just useless. I mean, you can obviously overclock stuff, etc. But the best part about this is, first of all, he's going to be able to turbo boost up to here, which is just going to be crazy, and then he's going to also be able to go through and even go higher when he overclocks it. So he might even be able to get up to 4.7. That's probably what he'll be able to look at. So now for storage. Now obviously he's gonna be playing a lot of games, and I personally, if I was going to go through here, I'd probably say that he's not gonna have a lot of stuff installed in the SSD, and I've already talked with him, and he's not interested in the different, because I asked him, I'm like, do you want to wait a little extra longer for the games, because it's a lot more expensive to get an SSD. And I mean, honestly, you shouldn't have a whole lot installed on your SSD. And this is the SSD that I currently have. It's the 120 gigabyte. And honestly, I don't think that, yes, it makes a difference. Trust me, I have an SSD for my operating system in a couple games, and I do think it makes a difference. And I mean, if you have the money. But if you don't have the money and you don't want to like spend a whole bunch of money trying to get an SSD, I mean, a good hard drive will do pretty well. I mean, it won't make the same difference, and don't get me wrong, an SSD is good if you have the money. But that's the main thing. Now, obviously, I want to get him a good case. Now, we're gonna skip the video card for the moment because I like to have that when I like to save the video card for the last thing, so you can see what the budget you're looking at. And his favorite color is blue, so I'm gonna be getting them the same case I have, only blue. So that's going to basically be the same thing. I like this case as well. This case I have only is red, just because the design for like cable management is just crazy good. So I have no issue with the cable management whatsoever. I like the little, that's all metal and stuff. And if you watch that video on my channel trailer, that will explain, it'll show you the whole building of my thing. So now basically, as you can see, the wattage is not a lot currently, since we're not getting too high up there. But I like to have a fully modular power supply, just because it makes cable management amazing. And then for the optical drive, I don't think he needs anything like that. Operating system is another topic I like to talk about, because I like to get Windows 10 Pro. Now, before y'all going, oh well, there's a big difference. There's a website, I believe it's called Kingwin, and it actually is $30 just for the same operating system. And all they do is they basically take old computers that kind of they don't work anymore, like you're talking 1 gigahertz processors, maybe 2 gigabytes of RAM that have Windows 10 on them, and then they just take that off and they give you the key for that. So that's actually how it ends up working pretty well. So also, I forgot, we need to add another storage drive, at least one. Western Digital is actually the same one I have as well, and that's a good speed, etc. for your hard drive. So that's what we're looking at right now. And obviously, that doesn't leave a whole lot of money for the graphics card. Yeah, that's actually pretty true. That doesn't leave a whole lot of money. So I'm gonna try seeing what we can get him for the video card. We might have to go down and minimize some stuff. So let's see. Did the Bitcoin miner, or not the Bitcoin miners, Ethereum miners? I have had a bunch of people correcting me that, and I keep telling I really can't do anything about it. Yeah, they've still got the price skyrocket high. I mean, that's just whew. So what I'm going to say is he probably will just have the GeForce 1060 for right now, because what I'm just looking at right now is just absolutely crazy, some of the prices. Like, the thing is, the 1070s are, when I started looking for my computer, were like in the 200s. And now you're looking at them and they're like almost $500. And I mean, if you're going to go through and get that, then I mean, that's just the point. But as you can see, I think we're going to stick at a GeForce GTX 1060 for right now. That'll be good enough to suit him. And honestly, you really don't, like, if you're not going to be, like, I have a Titan, or not a Titan, 1080 Ti, and that was just a waste of money. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's a solid waste of money, because that was just so much that I probably could have spent somewhere else, and it still would have made a huge difference. I see, like, $500 pretty much. So I think, like, and the difference between the 1050s, for example, is just like crazy too, because these 1050s are pretty decent for what you get as well. So anyway, there's and I mean, some of these cards just, you don't get why they make them so expensive, to be honest. Like, you look at it and you're like, well, where's I should expect to see something. And obviously you gotta be careful, because the 1060s will also have like a 3 gigabyte in them, so you gotta also look out for that. So I'm gonna look for a 1060 6 gigabyte, and I'm gonna look for something pretty cheap. Not, that looks about as cheap as it's gonna get. And obviously we're gonna be a little bit over budget, $200 over budget. So this is the part where you like to go through and kind of pick out what you're looking for. The big thing is, I've kind of chosen a lot of the stuff. I mean, I could get a different cooler, and I could get a different motherboard and some things like that. But that motherboard is going to be good enough to overclock. It's got 64 gigabytes of RAM, and obviously it does support some high memory speeds, but then again, you got to keep in mind that it's just the processor only supports so much. And obviously this is the same brand that I have. I like MSI a little bit, just because I do have their motherboard and stuff. But I mean, that's the average price. And obviously, I mean, that's like $200 over budget, as I said. But depending on what he wants, or if he's willing to go over for this performance difference, because there will be a big performance difference. I mean, as it is an Intel processor, and you can see right here. What the heck? I thought I changed the cooler. But as you can see though, you can get a huge difference by just, you know, the cooler, that will still do him pretty well, and he can always upgrade. So I mean, if you're trying to save money, the cooler is a good thing. That is a really good cooler. It does good. I mean, it'll probably just be able to keep it at default speed and be cool enough, but you know, you can look around and stuff, and you can definitely see that that's a pretty good price. The other design, depending on what he wants, I also like to have a couple different options. So this would be my first design, and this would be kind of the first design that I'd go for. You know, this would be the first kind of option depending on what he wants. But also, I want you also to keep in mind, when keep an open mind, is that the Ryzen 5 processor, I mean, while it's not as fast. Let's see. I'm gonna real quick delete all the parts so they don't have to, or delete the things that are gonna cause that. Okay. The thing about this is you can choose a CPU, and I like the Ryzen 5 1600X, wherever it is. There you go. That is a pretty good processor for what you get. Like, that is completely crazy. So I don't think this will give you, or it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't have any issues. Let's see. So this is the same motherboard that I have, and obviously you get the same issue. So the different thing is, like, you can get that nice processor. I just feel like, you know, for the purpose of him, I feel like it's just a lot of, it's basically speed in the graphics card, and you know, that budget, if I had, like, you know, the extra $200, I would go through and basically go and buy a better graphics card, because that's the only thing that's really lacking. And I mean, I understand that, you know, people will be like, well, yeah, you can overclock, but just the better graphics card's all that's really lacking. And so, you know, you can either get to the point where you're like, if you're willing to spend a little bit, then, you know, you can go through and do that. Let me just go see if I can get that last little bit. But I mean, if you're willing to spend a little bit more, then that's what you're looking at. But that's basically the whole budget for him. $100 over, but I think we'll have to talk with him, see what he thinks. But that is the first, like, you know, the part list for him, and that will run most of his games, like, really good. So I don't think there's any issues with that. So now that this video is over, the next video we're going to go over is going to be getting the parts, getting them in the mail, and then of course, you know, you're looking at the wattage. Like, it's using this. You could probably save some money on the power supply, but the thing about power supplies is also that you don't get a whole lot. But anyway, so basically, let's go through, guys, and I just want to say, you know, I might actually just switch out the power supply, because I feel like there's, you know, watts. I mean, the watts thing is, though, like, you need something that's fully modular and platinum. You know, obviously, like, 400 watts for a platinum, you really don't need. A gold semi is, like, for real, like, the prices on this, I got my fully gold 650 watts semi for like $80, and like, you look at some of the stuff, and they, like, that just makes me wonder, like, why some people even buy this stuff. Like, this is the curious part. So there are golds, 450 full wattage, and that's if you wanted to save some money. There you go, that dropped the price down a little bit as well. But, you know, that's you know, pushing it if he really wants to, but that's basically the whole build right there. So let me know what you guys thought of this video down in the comments, and of course we'll be doing some more of these videos later as well. So thank you all for watching, and see you guys next time.